Evening, everyone. We'll be starting momentarily. Thank you for joining us today. See some folks coming in. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Our webinar will begin in just a few minutes. While you're waiting, feel free to review our program information at csudh.edu/ccpe/managing. Thanks for joining us. Sit tight. Hello, everyone. My name is Anissa Barton-Thompson, and I'm the social media specialist for the College of Continuing and Professional Education here at California State University, Dominguez Hills. I'm your host for today's session, so thank you for joining us. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website and social media resources shortly after today's session. Feel free to download the CSUDH Managing for Success Certificate Program Information Kit for details about the program and additional resources covered in this webinar. The address is bit.ly/CSUDH-MGX-InfoKit. We have provided a link in the chat for those who are participating live. It will also be available via a follow-up email to attendees as well as on our website. So before we jump in, I'd like to review the Zoom controls. This session is being presented in a webinar format, so you won't need to worry about connecting your microphone or your camera. However, we want your participation. So help us address your needs. Use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen if you're joining us from the Zoom desktop app or the web browser, or in the top right of your screen if you're on a mobile device. Please ask your questions in the Q&A panel rather than in the chat panel. Once you click that Q&A button, a dialog box will open, allowing us to see your questions that you've typed in. In that chat panel, we're going to be providing helpful links and all kinds of helpful resources and other information. Our marketing staff members, Stephanie Miller and Keith Otterberg, as well as our program manager, Elizabeth Legg, are here standing by to assist. We'll be answering those questions at the end of the session, although often you may find the question you have has been answered during those program overviews. So with that being said, let's take a quick look at our agenda for this information session. This program goes by the abbreviation MGX, so you may have that hear or see that abbreviation from time to time. We'll begin by meeting our certificate faculty, who will introduce you to the program via an overview of benefits, expectations, and course details. Then we'll go over the registration and login information and address your questions in that Q&A session we were talking about. We'll also have a survey at the end of this webinar, and we'd love to get your feedback so we can make sure our future events are even better. And if you're on social media, please use the hashtag CSUDH Continuing Ed or tag us at CSUDH Continuing Ed. And now to kick off today's presentation, I'm going to turn this over to Jen Perez, one of our 2 insightful instructors joining us for tonight's session. Jen, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Anissa. With that, I'd like for us to meet the instructor team. I'd like to say welcome everyone and thank you for joining us. We are very excited to be here with you. My name is Jen Perez, and as you can see, I'm the one to the far left here. I've been an instructor with Cal State Dominguez for about a little bit over 10 years. I'm an actual alum from Cal State Dominguez in the degree program and the certificate program, so I'm very excited to join the team here. I have over 25 years in human resources management, and with that, daily being able to train and develop my management team. So I'm very excited for this certificate course. And I'll go ahead and allow Jim to introduce himself to everyone tonight. Jim?
Okay. Thank you, Jen. I am Jim Vigneau. I'm the next one down the line, if you can't figure that one out, or I can give you 4 guesses as to who I am on that one. I'm kind of the old emeritus instructor on this. I was instructor number 1 on these programs, and as you can see, we have grown the program significantly. The individuals that you see there, I have about half of it, but we have well over 100 years worth of management and executive experience among us. I bring about 40 plus of those to the program. So there's a tremendous amount of experience and material that will be part of the program that Jen will be talking about. Jen, I'll turn it back over to you to just introduce Jeanie and Linda very quickly.
Thank you, Jim. Next in line is Jeanie Talbot. She's been a CSUDH instructor for over 18 years. Her management industry experience began in '89 as she was hired as a recruiter for an independent firm, which, she kind of moved into more of client consulting opportunities and later was hired as an HR manager until she became a certified HR professional and created her own business. So day to day, she deals with a lot of consultations. Linda Nespole has been with an instructor with us since 2017, and her background is in HR, mainly in the manufacturing industry. The majority of her role has been working with all levels of management, some specific areas. She helps managers with is coaching and developing existing employees, dealing with performance problems, supporting problem resolution and decision making, translating company goals into functional and individual goals, monitoring and controlling expense and budgets, and helping managers to use analytics for reporting results to their senior managers. So as you can see, we have extensive years of experience with this program and in management. Now we're going to go ahead and launch a poll to learn a little bit more about your background in management. So if you can take some time and answer these 2 questions. 1, what is your experience in management? Are you aspiring to management or other experience? Just starting anywhere from 1 to 2 years or 3 or more years of experience. And question 2, what skills do you want to take away from this program? Are you looking for hard skills, budgeting, project management, labor costing, metrics and analytics? Soft skills, employee engagement, team building, performance evaluation, or both? Take some time to respond to these answers. As we know, over the last few years, there's been a lot of changes in the workplace. So there's a lot of changes in management and how we deal with either new technologies in the workplace. So let's take a little bit talk about the management outlook. And like I said, we have new technology that has altered how we communicate. We have remote workplaces or hybrid workplaces, increased focus on work-life balance. So maybe Jim, can you talk to us a little bit about this outlook?
Yes, it's become very, very interesting for all of us, but for managers in particular. Your executive team, if you're already into management, you may already be aware of this, but if you're getting into management, be aware that your executive team is looking for you to be able to look around corners. They want you to be able to look to the future and be able to support the enterprise in being able to meet the demands and the challenges of that future. So you not only have to have a very clear crystal ball, you have to know what to do with what you see in it. So again, even to the poll questions, what's your experience? If you're a manager for 20 years, are you a manager 1 year for 20 times? And you're looking to increase your skills and your ability to manage more effectively. And what are those skills? Both hard and soft is what will be addressed in our program, and Jen will talk more about that. But you need today to be a very well-rounded, future forward-looking individual to be successful in management these days. So that's really what this program can prepare you to be able to meet those particular challenges in today's workplace.
Yeah, and managers are pretty much needed in every single type of company and industry, from startups to large corporations. So we try to help, you deal with these challenges and opportunities to learn on how to better engage all the professionals so you can lead them, and also learn how to delegate and give autonomy to your people so that they can ensure they give you the best results. So there's a lot of shifts in the management program. And so let's move on to seeing what the certificate program is. Our certificate program brings you hands-on discussion, real-world examples, relevant data that you can actually just day-to-day take back to your workplace and implement whether what new changes you want to bring, effectively manage your team, better discussion tools for them. So we teach you and develop you with this in every single session that we have. So we're bringing in live case studies, in-class studies that we can practice on. And we ask that you just bring back, what you're currently going through in your workplace so we can help address that and, help upskill yourself within these management ideas. Now, who should attend? You might question yourself, who should attend? Is this program for me? Class participants, we look at our current leaders, supervisors, line and middle managers, and individuals seeking to help, promote themselves or just improve their skills. Now, let's look at our poll. What are the results? Question 1, what is your experience in management? So we have 42% of those attending aspiring to management or other experience, 15% just starting, anywhere from 1 to 2 years, and 42% 3 or more years of experience. Question 2 is, what skills do you want to take away from this program? 8% said hard skills, so such as our budgeting and project management. 12% want to work on their soft skills, and 81% of you want to build both skills. So this program is perfect for everyone here because we will start from the beginning all the way to the end to help implement and upskill, those skills. And each session, as we will see down the line, we'll talk about a little bit of everything within our survey poll here. So let's take a look at some of the specifics of the program to see what we discussed. So the quick overview is this is a 4-course program. You will have a certificate awarded upon successful completion of the courses, and you will complete it in as little as 4 months. So you can take the certificate and be able to, show it to your employer or prospective employers to show them that you're, moving forward and being able to improve and upskill your skills in management. Now let's look at the 4 courses in particular. Quick overview, we're going to look at organizational role, the functional role, team development, and team management. Okay, so these we will cover management skills within the programs. They're universal. They can be applied to any field, whether it's private, profit, nonprofit, small businesses, etc. Your own organizations, maybe a startup you want to do. So everything we will discuss, you can apply them in every session. So we encourage you to take them in sequence, but now let's cover them individually. What will we be covering? Session 1 is our organizational role. We'll talk about the roles and impacts of management. What is it to be a manager? What are the functions day to day? We look at the application and discuss principles and approaches of management by looking at theories of motivation and management and how they impact the workplace. So theories like the Hawthorne effect, the Pygmalion effect, and key management principles. We'll have an overview of them and be able to practice them in class. Learning the business. We discuss the evolution of management. We look at understanding the goals and objectives of your organizations and try to help devise plans to execute them and improve them. We take a look at various approaches, the techniques, and challenges to learning the overall operations of your organization. And we will work together and look at specific ideas and solutions for your workplace so you can take them back and immediately make change. Legal aspects of management is a real critical class, and it's really fun. We will look at regulations impacting your workplace, specifically, as how do you handle them as managers? We'll look at wage and hour, privacy and discrimination, and also discuss ways that you can partner with your HR department to help you be more successful. Budget management, as we all know, companies look at the bottom line in order to make profit. So we look at understanding to read and interpret company level financials and budget reports so you can understand them and see an overview of what they mean to you. And the goal is to have you understand the company's numbers to have a better understanding of why your goals are in place and attaining them. Once we take a look at the organizational role, we'll look at the functional role to continue building on your skills. Now, in the functional roles, we're going to look at basic project management. We're always working with projects. So as a manager, we need to be able to lead the teams in the management projects, within our workplaces. And sometimes we might be remote, sometimes we might be on site. So we'll look at different methods of, being able to lead your staff. In this session, we learn the importance of applying principles and techniques to manage and control projects and initiatives in advance. You help determine the scope of your project and try to analyze what resources you might need, how to set timelines and reach them, the results, as well as evaluating and measuring the success of those projects. Change management, as we know, change is constant, so we need to understand how to effectively manage change in the workplace. Something as simple as new technology or new piece of equipment needs to be managed. So we look at various approaches to communicate and implement change so that change is accepted and it's good and it does not turn into a negative. Metrics and analytics. Numbers are all over the workplace today, so we will look at different methods of measurement, how to help analyze the success and efficiency of your organization. We also look at the formulas and how calculate them and software that might be beneficial to you. Labor costing and various analysis. It's critical that we help to manage costs within our departments. So we'll look at, how you examine what labor costing is, budgeting, and looking at measurements to determine the impact on profitability and or cost control. We look at what direct cost, indirect cost, and labor costs are to you and look at the formulas for that. So getting through this functional skill of building areas, we're going to look at the soft skills of managing people in our next sessions. So we start off with in team development, effective selection, and interviewing. As we know, it's critical we have the right individuals on our team. So we will look at understanding what you really need to hire from, looking at your requisition and the skills and needs within your organization to the whole process of the interviewing and selecting the right candidate. So we'll look at developing the questions that you need and different interview skills and practice these questions within the class so that you can be able to hire the right candidates for your team. Employee onboarding and engagement is critical. As we all know that, if we have the right onboarding and engagement, we're happy and successful within the organization. So you want to relay that back to your recruits. So we'll take a deep dive into what is trending and, what we need to look at from the pre-boarding to the whole onboarding section of it. Training and development, very critical in the success of any employee that we, upskill, reskill, bring new training in. And when something changes within the organization, or as we're looking as the future of what, the skills are going to be needed within the organization, we'll also look at reviewing the ADDIE model for the development of employees. Problem solving, You know, it's critical as a manager. There's always some type of issue that we need to resolve in order to make something better or more effective. We take a dive into various models and approaches, like at lean manufacturing or Kaizen, and take the principles and apply what is relevant to your organization to help improve, you know, your decision making and how you solve a problem and come up with, you know, outcomes. Now we're going to move into, you know, our team management piece of it. Here we look at performance management. Employees need to be informed on how they are performing, whether it's positive or negative. We try to take the negative and make it more into a coaching session that we move into the next class. But here we discuss and prepare and open the discussion for proper feedback in order to improve the performance of our employees. Coaching, counseling, and conflict resolution, we're taking disciplinary action in a different direction. We're looking at it as an open discussion and a way to address conflict where we are actually helping to improve the employee, motivate them so they can overall improve their production. So we're building employees here. Influence is critical in order to get what we want within our departments to, you know, implement change, whether we want a new piece of equipment, more money in the budget. So we look at different communication styles within you and maybe your department on how they are so that we can look at these influencing models as well to help relay on how you can improve your skills in communicating to get your point across and be able to sell what you want to. The final class in our team management is labor and management relations. So here we're really looking at one, union organizing. And because we know some organizations are unions, some are non-union. So we look at collective bargaining as well, just to get you, you know, a little touch and feel of what that is. We also will discuss of what union and the non-union environment is so that you understand the National Labor Relations Act and how it impacts both or types of organizations. Now that we've discussed the class sessions in summary, let's go over the course delivery. Now we're live online. Our classes are via Zoom, weeknights, typically 3-hour class meetings. All classes are scheduled year-round. They are CEU, so you know you'll be awarded that upon completion, but attendance and participation is required in order for you to get the credits for the CEUs. So it's real important that you understand the courses and you make it on time. Again, live, online, Zoom, weeknights, typically 3-hour class meetings. And to summarize, you know, in our class benefits, again, the thing that you get from us is it's real world. We're not just looking at textbook, we're looking at current events, what's happening day to day in society. We're practicing to help you upskill your leadership and your management styles, how to communicate better for influencing, help you understand and learn, you know, best practices in management, give you a little bit of information, you know, of what we need in workplace compliance so that to understand that you are safe in the workplace, and we help you take immediate action and make impacts for the better. And with this, I will now send it back to Anissa.
Thank you very much. All right. So I just want to say a very special thank you to Jen and Jim for providing such insightful information about the program and about the outlook on the current industry. We're going to come back to those instructors in just a little bit to go over our Q&A section. But before we get into that, let's look at the overall course delivery and registration details. So almost all of the CSUDH professional development programs are being offered in an online format, which means that students are assigned online access through our campus's IT services. Each student will need login credentials to access our student portal called MyCSUDH. This portal includes Canvas, which is our learning management system, where course content is distributed, Toro Mail, which is our Gmail-based student email system, and of course, the Zoom web conferencing tool. Now, these login credentials, which consist of your username, your email account, and your password, are issued through our registration office approximately 2 to 3 business days after registration in your first course. Now, let's talk about the registration process. Course registration for Managing for Success certificate program takes place online via our online self-registration shopping cart system. So you can register for courses individually or for all 4 courses at once. The steps to register are, please first view the schedule on the program course website, which is csudh.edu/ccpe/managing/courses. When you see the course you want, you simply click the Add Cart button next to that course title, and then you can click on the green shopping cart button in the corner to go to the checkout. And that's where you're going to also provide your contact information and your payment information as well. And then you'll be receiving instructions and confirmation details after that. If you need additional information regarding this process, please visit csudh.edu/ccpe/registration. Now, we highly recommend that you register early to make sure that there's space in the program and to allow enough time for course information and online access details to be created and sent to you and distributed. For those looking for financial assistance options to help with funding the course, please feel free to Google private student loan providers or connect with salliemay.com for student loan details. And just as a post-registration, we recommend again that you register at least 1 week before the course begins. And once you've received your login information, you'll be able to easily access that Toro student portal, MyCSUDH, to connect with your class and check your Toro mail and personal emails frequently for special instructions and campus notifications. You'll also want to be sure to test your account access in Canvas and get comfortable with the layout of the class, such as where to find announcements, Zoom meeting schedules, discussions, and the like. Let us know via our academic technology services if you're having any difficulty connecting. All right, so now we're ready for our Q&A segment, and I'm going to go ahead and start us off with a couple of quick, just pre-loaded questions that will get our instructors ready to go. So the first question I want to ask is, a lot of people are always curious, like, how do you get into management if you really don't have a strong background or a strong sense of experience in this field? I want to have Jim lead off, and then Jen, if you can go into that question as well. Let's see.
A lot of it is just pretty much basically paying your dues. Half of it is preparing and planning. That's gaining your education, building your skills, learning what it is to become a manager. Get that put onto your resume. That's a high value aspect to this management program. The second is just to be able to demonstrate within the workplace that you have an interest beyond just doing your daily tasks. You need to show people that are stakeholders, that are decision makers, that you have what it takes to do more, and that you are familiar with what that more is. So if you're able to demonstrate that, and again, knowing what it is to be a manager, to be able to problem solve, to be able to lead a team, to be able to project manage. Those are the things that we would touch upon. And that's what those who are going to make the decisions of who's going to be a manager, that's what they're looking for.
Okay. And Jen, what's your take?
And Jim, I totally agree with you. The only thing I'd add is a little bit of the soft skills. They need to understand how to have empathy. Individuals today, we talk about our workplace and people want to be understood. So we have to empathize with them. So, we go into the soft skills here in this course. So the key thing to helping you if you don't have experience is, the courses here will help develop you and, take you into that next level. And I mean, just from experience, and I know Jim, you have this too, and the other instructors have had it, is we've had individuals just starting and wanting to, and they start the course off, wanting to get into a role. And by the time we finish the classes and they get their certificate, they're already getting promoted into that pre-management role or that management role. So, we have a lot of success stories in that by doing this. So,
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. We have a question from one of our attendees here. Arlene is asking, what is the weekly time commitment for the course? And we're talking about the class time and time for assignments if that's outside of the classroom. Is there homework and so on?
It's 3 hours. So we tried, since we are certificate course, we try not to have you do anything outside because we understand maybe most individuals are working and it might be time consuming. So we want to work with you as well. So we will go over through a lecture activities in the class. The only thing maybe you might want to do out is if you want to take something that's relevant for your class and apply it to your workplace. So you're going to do your own research, but it's going to be beneficial to you. Jim?
Yeah. Yes, again, the classes are designed to be more than just lecture and principles and theory. The first half of the class covers what the topic is. We do a deep dive into the practical aspect of it, but then the second half involves we're actually working and starting to develop those skills that we've talked about in that particular class. So you actually get a little bit of hands-on before you finish the night. So it's a very concentrated approach.
And it makes it for fun. We have a
Mhm.
lot of fun in the class because we have those activities. We bring case studies and, we'll put you in groups and with partners so you can practice in class and also hear the experiences of others within the class.
Absolutely. You know what, that brings up kind of an interesting point, because one of the next questions we have is from Nicholas, and you're speaking about the class experience and what people are bringing from their own workplace experience. His question is the course provided in Spanish? And in that regard, are you covering things that have to do with multilingual cases and multilingual workplaces and environments and things like that?
Mhm. So, the class itself is offered in English, right? But we do cover topics like language barriers, maybe other organizations, what they've encountered, how they handled, this multilingual, workplace. So there is a little
Mhm.
bit of that, Jim, in your experience.
Yeah, that's really pretty much it. Jen has described it very well. We will touch on the impacts of ESL in the workplace. We also touch on to generational differences, cultural differences, language differences, and being able to provide support across the board in that regard, especially when you're working in human resources. So
Absolutely.
that is a very important topic for us. But as Jen said, the class itself is conducted in English, but we do touch upon those cultural and language issues.
Absolutely. And I'd imagine that that also kind of in a way addresses soft skills in terms of communication and communication styles as well.
Yes,
Yes.
it does.
Absolutely. Okay. Our next question is from Timothy. He says he has a master's in organizational leadership. And would this certificate be helpful for improving his skills and possibly going into management with that background?
Yes, I have a master's in organizational leadership as
Okay.
well.
There you go,
And
Timothy.
I find the course very beneficial because, when we go through the courses themselves in our degree program, it's a lot of book relevance while we have real world relevance and what's happening now. So you'll find that maybe some of the items you might have touched, based on it, but we'll expand on it and putting it to work now. Jim?
Yeah, you'll move from the what that you had in your degree program to the how with this certificate program.
Good point.
Mhm.
That you can't get any clearer than that. That's pretty awesome, actually. Okay, so we have another question from an anonymous attendee, and this is a pretty powerful question right now. Should we be worried about the future of AI and job loss in the HR industry?
To
Jim,
an
I
I'll
have to
let
think
extent,
about this
yeah.
one.
You go ahead, Jen.
Well, AI is so new and a lot is happening right now. Of course, we know regulations are being put in place, but AI does bring a lot of support. So in my eyes, I don't find it as worried as we're going to be losing in the threat, but it's going to help enhance the workplace as long as we accept technology and learn how to work with it. Jim?
Yeah. There's already been a lot of advances. You have ATS systems, applicant tracking systems, and smart systems that are already supporting human resources management. I think what you'll see is that AI will assume a lot of the more rote clerical um, general kinds of tasks will end up becoming automated, but you're dealing with people, and what you're going to find in human resources is that AI can tell you what the percentages are, but I will tell you from 40 plus years of experience, no two situations, no matter how identical they are ever going to be the same.
Right.
And so AI is not going to be able to help you with that. You really need to bring a good, strong managerial and people set of skills. How do you evaluate situations when you're dealing with tasks, combining tasks and people and schedules and resources and all of those things that come together with not only just accomplishing what you do on a daily basis, but your projects. All of that, AI can get you into the ballpark, but they're not going to be able to hit the home run for you. You've got to.
And I would imagine that it would probably touch on some very basic or foundational pieces of information, but there's a lot of detail, such as with our next question, one of our anonymous attendees here says, within the course, are we taught how to learn how to navigate in a trauma-informed manner within the HR field? And I think that absolutely leads into that, how you really need to have people at the core of this management system, correct? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, and that's when you get into this management certificate course about like the soft skills. We talk about people and understanding. We talk about empathy. We talk about mental challenges in the workplace and how to handle your staff and how to work around that and give suggestions or be part of that change movement. So we do cover a lot of those topics as well as, compliance that goes into that. So it does touch base on every single perspective. Jim?
Yeah. Half of the course deals with how you operate. Half of the course deals with managing the team. We don't get into the function of being an engineer or being a quality assurance individual or being an operations person or being an accounting and finance manager or anything like that. We don't get into those functional areas. We really take a look at what it is to be able to operate as a manager and to lead a team, which is the hardest of the skills that a manager faces, is how do you lead a team of a whole bunch of individuals, each one being unique and different and needing an approach in order to make them successful, which in turn makes you successful. How do you get them to that level of success? And it's a tremendous challenge, but that is a focus of the program.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I want to come back to some more logistical information regarding the program. Are there textbooks required? And if so, is there a buying process that's available? Do you provide materials in the class and so on?
No textbooks are required. We provide everything the student needs in class via the PowerPoints or any other materials we like them to utilize.
Okay. We talked about the schedule and that this is an online format. What happens if a student has a schedule conflict and they're unable to attend on a particular day of class or multiple? What is the process for that?
So again, attendance is required to complete the course. But if maybe there is one schedule difference within the 4 sessions, say one course might be able to be missed with a makeup session. So we will either address a makeup session, whether it's an assignment or taking that one class with the instructor next semester in order to make up and be able to complete the class.
Right. And we do offer these courses on a 3-term basis, 3 terms per year. So
Yes.
it's good that we have a continuous cycle. What types of professional organizations are available for our Managing for Success students? Do you recommend any kind of organizations, associations, affiliations that support students?
Well, you want to get into some of your functional areas. I mean, if you're an electrical engineer, you're going to be with IEEE. You're going to connect up with various associations that are connected either to what it is that you do, or to your industry. Those are always very good. You need to have those larger pictures. So generally, I have found that for managers, those big picture items are the things that you really need to be able to focus on. So I would have managers focus on industry, and then specific skill set areas.
Okay. The next question comes from an anonymous attendee that says, does the program address managing international staff virtually? This person's staff is 75% of the team sits in other counties, areas, and so on. Logistically, is that possible?
We don't address that specifically as a listed topic, but I've hit it just about every single class that I've been involved in, because that's where the class is coming from. What Jen will do, what I will do, what any of the other instructors do, is that we identify up front who's actually in our class, and if there are some unique or specific needs or a focus that a particular student or group of students want us to focus on, we'll bring that in. So if we have somebody who is really has some basic management chops down, but is looking at, but I'm dealing with multiple time zones. I'm having to deal with not being able to be there in person. How do I deal with and motivate and problem solve? Yes, we will address that specifically with those individuals in the class, because it's a great learning experience for everyone else as well.
Okay.
Agreed.
The next question is, for someone who isn't knowledgeable about being a manager, do you feel like this is a good starting point, or does someone need to have a little bit more experience coming in?
This is definitely a good starting point because we cover all levels. Just like Jim said, we get to know the students that are enrolling, and we gear the courses to ensure that everyone is participating and learning at a good level. So we take all those experiences and bringing them in. So it's a perfect course.
Okay.
We
And
actually have some of our more senior people operate as, let's say, class mentors, often for those individuals who are just getting into management or looking to get into management. If I recall from our poll, we had about a pretty even split between those individuals that are new to management and those that have been in management for 3 or more years. So we build on that dynamic for some of our more senior individuals to share and even mentor some of our more junior participants.
We have a follow-up question from someone on an iPhone who says, do we pay as we go, per semester, or per unit? And I'll go ahead and answer this. You can pay per course, or you can pay for all of the courses all at once. The choice is yours. And I will end with a final question. What, besides the experience and the skills that the students are getting in the class, what are they going to take away from the class? This is a credit, no credit course. It is a non-academic course. It is what we call a professional development or professional career development course. And in that, you're not only going to get the certificate of completion for the program, but you're also going to earn digital credentials. So digital badges come along with the course as well. And that will allow you to share your experience and even a little bit of insight, a lot of insight actually, about what skills you've earned embedded as metadata in your actual digital credentials. So that's kind of cool. You can share it on LinkedIn, you can share it with your colleagues, potential employers, and so on. So I think that's kind of cool. And this very last question is for you, Jen, and for you, Jim. On the personal side, what is your favorite takeaway of working with our CSUDH students?
Oh, I always walk away with something new that I have learned. one of the things that I learned very early on as a manager, when I thought I knew everything, was that I didn't know everything.
Mhm.
And so I think I became a much better manager when I finally realized I really don't know it all. And so I'm constantly looking for a new perspective, a new way of doing things, a new experience that our students bring in, and what can I learn out of that individual's experience or their story, their successes or even their failures. What can I learn from it? And there has not been a class that I have not walked away with something that the class has given back to me
I love it.
every
And
time.
that's true, Jim. But I love to see the growth of our students. And from the beginning of the class, from our like the newest individuals that might not have the background in management to the ones that have been in management for over 10 years, I love to see their growth from either them realizing, wow, I did that many years ago, I lost it, or that's something new I haven't understood. But just to see them take something back and come back like the next session or the following few sessions and implement something we discussed in class that supported them to get involved into a meeting, to make a change in the workplace, to get promoted, to take that leap and take that new position. It's just amazing to see their growth and really have those connections after the class. And I really enjoy that because they'll send me messages or, just what they've done and how they've promoted and even questions down the line, like,
Mhm.
instructor, I have this question because now I'm involved with this. What do you think? So always having that network open, is really rewarding for me.
I love it. I love it. And it's such a great takeaway too, that everybody involved is blessed by it. I think it's awesome. And I don't want to leave any questions unanswered. And we did get one final question that came in from Nicholas. He says he's a certified safety manager in construction, and how could this course help him, assist him in what he's doing in his day-to-day?
Well, again, in any discipline, if you're operating at a management level, there's a tremendous amount of management common ground, whether, like I said, you're in safety, you're in engineering, you're in finance or accounting. Being a manager, the same principles, the same techniques, the same approaches, the same communication uh, uh, approaches that you take will pretty much remain the same. You just tweak them for the environment. So whether you're a safety manager or an ops manager, where you might butt heads with that ops manager as the safety person saying, no, no, they can't be doing that. How are you influencing that individual to get them on your side to support what you need to have done?
Right.
That's being a good manager, and that's what we focus on.
Okay. Of course, one more question came in, and I recognize this name, Raquel, came from our meeting and event planning certificate, and she's here joining us. So welcome back, Raquel. She wants to know how many students are typically in the Managing for Success classes, the 4 individual classes. What's the class size like?
It varies, Jim, right? Every
Yeah.
semester is a little bit different. So we can have 15, 20 students, 25 students. It's just depending per session.
Okay. Well, I hope that everybody got to have their questions answered. We know that there was a lot of information that was provided. And at this point, we've covered so much great information. But I want to make sure that in case you feel like you missed anything, you can get in touch with us. So before I jump into that, I want to say thank you again to Jen. Thank you again to Jim. We appreciate you joining us. And I'm going to go ahead and bring our slides back up. So thank you for everything that you've provided. And we want to make sure that everybody knows how to get in touch with us. If you have additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us via email at learn@csudh.edu or give us a call during our business hours Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. by calling 310-243-2075. And when you're ready to take those next steps, go ahead and register. The self-registration is already available on the website at csudh.edu/ccpe/managing/courses. And so with that, We'd like to thank you for joining our session today. This concludes our Managing for Success Certificate Program information session. Thank you again for being here. Feel free to connect with us on our website. Feel free to connect with us on our social media, on our Facebook page, on our LinkedIn group, everywhere online. And remember to register early to make sure you get your spot in your preferred classes. We'd also love to get your feedback on today's session, so please let us know how we can improve the quality of the information provided by visiting bit.ly/CSUDH-webinar-feedback. I saw that thumbs up. Thank you. The survey will also be available via follow-up email to the attendees. So we're going to stay here in the session for just a few minutes more to give everyone a moment to jot down those last minute notes and download the Managing for Success information kit in the chat panel. The recording for this session is online actually right now on our YouTube channel, and it will be available on the website as well. When you're ready to leave, simply click the red leave button in the corner of your screen. And once again, thank you for joining us. Stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you in class. Take care, everybody.